US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin made an unannounced visit to Kyiv on Monday in support of continuing aid to the country as the Russia-Ukraine war nears 21 months. While there, General Austin announced the US will send an additional $100 million in weapons. He said Ukraine's effort to defeat Russian forces matters to the rest of the world and that the US support would continue, as he put it, for the long haul.
This is more than just Ukraine alone. This is about the rules-based international order. This is about making sure that an autocrat cannot overrun his peaceful neighbor at will.
More than 170,000 Russians are still living in Ukraine almost 2 years after Russia launched its full-scale invasion. Some are even fighting in Ukraine's army. But their situation is complicated. They say they can't access basic services without a Ukrainian passport. And to get that, they'd first have to travel to Russia to surrender their citizenship. Our Ukraine correspondent James Waterhouse has more.
3 women in wartime Ukraine. Bound by their love for the country, trapped by their links to Russia. Galina was born here in central Ukraine, but raised in Russia and has a Russian passport. Her pregnancy is spent stitching T-shirts for the wounded. She speaks Ukrainian, sees herself as Ukrainian. The state considers her to be a Russian.
When you go to a city with your documents, they look at you like you're something strange. Changing a passport was difficult even before the war. Now it's just impossible.
Galina needs a Ukrainian passport to apply for work, to access free healthcare and prevent her bank account from being blocked. To get it, she says she needs to go to Russia to surrender her citizenship, but fears she won't make it back. Galina's connection with Ukraine is intertwined, a bond with Maxim, a Ukrainian soldier. They were married in church, but the state won't recognize it because she doesn't have settled status. This is Sergei and Alina, another Russian-Ukrainian union, though theirs was cut short. Alina is fighting for her country. Sergei, a Russian, was fighting against his. After years of trying and failing to get Ukrainian citizenship, he died in combat without it.
I think
this fight is not over. Ukraine as a state must pay its debt to the one who defended it. I see this as the ultimate injustice to our defenders.
Officials in Ukraine told us this is due process, and it won't be made easier for Russians. It has been made simpler, they say, for people who've been fighting. Like Anastasia, a Russian combat medic for Ukraine.
Since I came here from my first day, I'm dreaming to have a passport, Ukrainian passport. This is what I'm fighting for, not only for freedom, but and for my passport. Nobody was asking my passport and my nationality when I was working. For sure, my colleagues, they know.
Whereas Galina remains in a vulnerable limbo. She gets a brief moment to call her husband, who's fighting on the front. If something happened to your husband, what would that mean for your family, given your situation?
I'm afraid to even think about it. It's very scary. It's very hard.
James Waterhouse, BBC News, Central Ukraine.